Hello students, your instructor here, John Medilla with another screencast. This one in Photoshop, and this tutorial will be about making different resolutions of the same image. So we're starting with a high-res image. If you look here in the assignment, you can see is you want to make it 250, 200, 150, 100, 72, and 50 DPI, and then also label it with the corresponding DPI. You don't have to use a new font. Ignore that part. So I'm going to go into Photoshop here. And first thing I want to do when I open an image is double check to make sure that it is in fact a high resolution image. And to double check that, you go to Image, Image Size. You're going to get an image size dialog that's going to open up. It shows you the width and height. This is a high res image, those are going to be pretty large. You can see these are in the thousands of pixels. And also document size, you can see it's 48 by 32, it's 72. Now that doesn't seem high resolution at first. However, if I go to resample the image, you can see that now the width, height, and resolution are connected, but the pixel dimensions are going to stay the same. If I change this to, let's just say 300, you can see that at 300 DPI, it's actually 11.5 by 7.5 inches. That's a pretty big high-res image. So I'm going to hit OK on that. Alright, good. Notice how nothing really changed here because the pixel dimensions stayed the same, stayed constant. So now I want to make my separate images. So I'm going to go to Image, Image Size, go back in there. So we're spending most of the time in this assignment. And now I'm going to check on Resample Image and Scale Styles. Just make sure all these are on. Now that I have my high-res image for the beginning of my original, make sure all these are on. I'm going to change this to 250. You notice how it shrunk. Alright, that's because the pixel dimensions changed. Alright, I go to Image, Image Size, you'll see that. Remember, this is in the 3000s and this is in the 2000s. Now they're smaller. So the width and the height, the physical size, stayed the same, but the resolution got smaller. Alright, so that made the pixel dimensions smaller. So now I've got that. I can just label that with any font that I want, as long as it's readable. There we go. I'm just going to click, and I'm going to type 250. So when I type for this, I'll just make this a font that's a little bit easier to read. It doesn't matter at all to me which font you choose. You don't have to be fancy with this one. I'm just going to go with Arial Black for now. That's totally fine, even though it's a hideous font. And I'm going to make it quite large, just again so it's easy to see. Again, you don't need drop shadows or any special styling to it. Just you can put the number anywhere, that's fine. I don't really care. So now that I've got this, what I'm going to do is go File, and this is important. I'm going to save as, and I'm going to select JPEG here. I'm going to get a warning that says files must be saved as a copy. That's what I want. I don't want to just store my original one. I want the copy of this. So I'll call this one 250. And for now, I'll just save it to my desktop. You'll probably want to save it to a specific folder. Save it like that. And here we are, get JPEG options. That's fine. I'll hit OK to these options. Alright, so this is like this now. If I were to go to, so again, I still have my layers editable. Even though I saved a JPEG, I saved the JPEG as a copy. So it allows me to work on this document here. So now I'm going to go to Image, Image Size again. And again, making sure all three of these are checked out. I'm going to change this resolution to 200. And I'm going to change the text here. I can just double click on the T thumbnail in the layers panel to 200. There we go. And then File, Save As. Again, I want to select JPEG. And again, it'll tell me it needs to be a copy, which is what I want. And let's go 200. I'll put it on the desktop right next to the other one I just made. And I will save it. And you'll just keep going like this over and over again. Alright? And you'll probably notice that as you change the image size in the image size panel, that the image appears to be smaller. That's normal because, again, the width and height of the inches, right, has stayed the same, but the resolution of the pixel density has lessened. Okay, so in those 11 inches, instead of it being 3,000 pixels, now we might only have 2,000 pixels. So again, the images stay the same size, but the pixel density lessens. That's why the pixel dimensions change. So keep doing that until you have all of them, and then zip them in a folder. Goodbye.